Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex here. We are back with MXGP2. Now we're going to have 2 rounds here once again, but today I'm actually doing post commentary, so it's not live commentary. I'm not racing basically as I record the commentary, which I have been doing in the last few episodes. So hopefully the riding's better, and let me know what you think. So, you know, first few corners, gained a few positions, and eventually got up into 4th place and really was battling for the lead of this race here. And we got into the battle with the front 4 here to try and obviously get a good position, obviously, because the recent races it slipped down a bit, and we did eventually get past a few people, but this audacious move to try and get into the lead here didn't really work out as planned. I ended up going really wide as we got into the second lap of the race here and dropped nearly down to 4th place once again, side by side there with 2nd and 3rd positions. That was pretty close stuff here, and you can see I'm trying to do the whip and all that sort of stuff, and I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. Obviously you can see throughout the video that wasn't the best example, but yeah, I'm trying to obviously do that to get a bit more speed throughout the whole lap and everything. And you can see eventually I did sort of drop a few positions, but I make a mistake here. I go over on the grass verge on the inside, and it wasn't working out. And I think once one thing happens to me, I sort of get a bit sort of panicky, and it doesn't sort of all work out for me, and I sort of end up making more and more mistakes in a row. But we had a decent comeback there to finish. Was that 9th place on the line basically, so not too disappointing, but definitely I had the pace there to be going for the victory, definitely on the podium at some point. So I was personally a bit disappointed that we didn't get anything better in that race. For example, you can see for 9th place we only got 12 points, which obviously isn't too good. But nonetheless, we go on to the next round, race number 2 of the weekend, and this is obviously a good chance for us to try and recoup some of those points we lost in that first race there from the mistakes that we made. Obviously we know the track now, and we know that, you know, what parts we need to go fast, what parts are going to go slow. There's a crash, there's a bike flying through the middle of the pack there. Luckily for us we don't get involved with that, but for some reason we take a slightly different line to everyone else and lose a whole bunch of positions, but we get a better line through there. Didn't reset us actually for going a bit off the track, which I was surprised about at the time, but not disappointed obviously, because it gained us a load of positions. So, well, not a load, it gained us probably a few positions. So happy with that. We're battling now with the podium positions here. Obviously there's 2nd and 3rd just in front of us here. Leader, it's a bit of a gap there, but one of the guys has a bit of a mistake through there, and that gets us into 2nd place. Number 41 on our outside here, trying to go around our outside, but Hastings is currently leading this race here. He's got the lead, and you can see it's one lap. Oh, it's quite a big. Is that a whip? I don't know which one's which. Oh, we've made a slight mistake, but oh, flashback. We've got that in our locker for a little bit at least. I'm going to start turning those off. You know, as the series goes on, obviously we're going to put this, you know, the flashbacks down and down and down, and obviously we'll improve the difficulty and all that sort of stuff over time. So overall, hopefully by the end of the series, I'm going to I've had like a full sim, but I'm not promising anything. Hopefully it's going to be like a lot harder by the time we get to the end of the series, and obviously hoping to be a bit better by the time we get to the end of the series. But I obviously can't promise that I'm going to be like perfect rider by the end of the series, but we'll see what happens. Let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that we can. But this is the last lap of the race here. We've got a bit of a commanding lead here. We've got probably about 40 seconds left of this lap here, so we've got to be careful. That was close. I mean, luckily I managed to land that one alright. There's some of them I hadn't landed alright. I don't know whether I was just sort of showboating at this point, but I don't know whether it was in this round or the next round, but you know, I was just trying to make sure, you know, I realised for the few corners to go, I think it was this race here, you know, I was like, I'll just keep it calm here because we've actually got a chance at a good result, so just not do anything silly. And I think the corner is just around this corner here. Oh no, I'm still showboating. Oh, that's why I realised at that point there, I think it was. So nearly lost it, so just don't do anything silly now. So over these, I don't think I did any of the sort of special moves to get more time. I was just sort of casually bumping over the jumps there. But there we are. You can see we just about won that race there, and it was pretty tense actually. You can see it was less than half a second there, the gap at the end there, to Hurlings, who came home in 2nd place there, and Jones finished in 3rd place there. He was under 2 seconds back. Then there's a few people 3 seconds back. But at the end of the weekend, we actually have the 3rd most points here, and only 1 point off what the other guys had. So they were both on 38, those first 2 people, and we were on 37. So over the whole weekend, even though we had that terrible first race, we actually only lost 1 point on the best guys this weekend, and we stay equal 10th in the championship. So let's move on to the next round here. So stay focused and get a bad start, basically. And obviously you don't want to get generally as bad a start as that, but we had a strange line down the inside, missed the hay bales on the inside, but ooh, we go down in the first corner there. Let's have a look at this in slow. I think we look at this in slow motion. What actually got us there, I'm not sure. I looked at this many times and I couldn't really see what sort of kicked us off our bike there, but we so nearly lost it once again by going over on the dirt on the outside. But luckily for us, we stay on and we're moved up the field quite quickly here. Obviously we're not doing qualifying. We have decided against that for now at least, and it's not actually working out too badly, to be perfectly honest. On this difficulty at least, it seems to be about right at the moment. If I get into a groove and it's on a track I don't mind, I think it's about right. We go underneath someone there. Luckily it doesn't cause a crash, but we get through that all good, and you can see the first two guys here battling it out, and we've closed up on them. So there's Lieber there, and was it Geiger or Geiger? I'm not too sure with the pronunciation of that one, with the J in the middle of the name, but I'm sure somebody can tell me about that. But with that move, we got us into the leaders race, and you can see it's the third lap of the race here, and we're still in the leaders race, and I was pretty pumped about this. Obviously, I probably had gone on this track before in MXGP1, but I was pretty happy with that. We had a nice lead in this race here, so I'm pretty happy about this. But anyway, we'll move on to the last race of the episode now, and this one obviously a bit more pressure on, so we needed to make sure we got the start right, but it wasn't great. I mean, we're still not dead last going to the first couple of corners, and we make a big mistake here. We sort of hit one of the we hit two of the hay bales there, which is a bit embarrassing, to be perfectly honest, but we managed to get around the first few corners, eventually in 19th place. So even with the mistake, we're still not last, which I suppose isn't too bad. But we look to the inside once again, gain a few positions on those guys, and that puts us into 15th position here. And you can see I switched them to the first person camera view here. I wasn't sure what it was like, so I just switched into it for a little bit here. I thought it was a bit disorientating, to be perfectly honest. I don't think I could do a whole race like that, but maybe one of you guys could let me know. Oh, he nearly hit the tyre banner there. Was it tyre? Was it Dunlop? I'm not too sure. But yeah, maybe it should be a challenge for one of the episodes to see if I can do a whole race in first person. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comment section down below. I think it might be interesting, but it would probably be quite tough for me and probably quite embarrassing. But if you guys like the idea, maybe we can do it. But you can see eventually onto the last lap of this race here. Lap 3 of 3 is what we are on, and you can see we have closed in on the leading guys here. So can we take a double win? This is the first time we'd be able to get a double win in the series here. And we've gone down the inside of Geiger. Oh, but we've had a massive mistake there, going a bit too fast through the fast left-hander. Obviously it's a fast left-hander, but we just went too fast through there, and obviously that lost us quite a bit of time. So that's disappointing, and it lost us a few positions, so we've got to reclaim those positions. We did get into the lead briefly before we made that massive mistake. So can we get past Geiger here? Hopefully that is pronounced right. If it's not, I'm sorry, but not too great at the pronunciations, especially with a lot of them in this game, which is very different. And obviously from not watching my MXGP on TV and all that, I've seen a few races here and there, but in general I don't really keep up to date with it, so I don't really know the names, just like I do in like touring cars or Formula 1, for example. But we managed to do it once again. We managed to go around the last corner, nearly hit the Monster Energy banner right at the end there, but we managed to just about get across the line, finish the second race out of 2 there, and with a 2.8 second lead on that one, which was very good, and a maximum of 50 points, 10 points ahead of the next guy, Tim Jasper, who's in second place there, and that moves us up in the standings quite a lot, from 10th up to 7th place there. Still quite a bit off the leaders there, but if we can put in a good few performances there, I mean, it was a 70-point gap that is, a good few performances, and I reckon we can close down that gap. Maybe not champion, but top 5, definitely in the realms of possibility, maybe even top 3. But thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. It's been Alex Mad here. Goodbye.